Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Hanson. I'm with the University of Mary Counseling Program and I am currently in my last 2 months of the program in school counseling concentration, and then I will be pursuing my clinical credits as well. And I will be presenting my graduate portfolio today, and basically it's just an encapsulation of my experience with the program, my personal, professional, academic growth, and learning throughout the last 2 years. Some key themes of the portfolio presentation that I will be doing are ethics and values, professional and personal growth, theoretical orientation, advocacy, multicultural practice, self-reflection, self-care, client-centered practice, and future plans. University mission and growth as a servant leader. The University of Mary mission is to prepare leaders in the service of truth. Um, a personal application of counseling to me is striving to be morally upright and authentic, both in my personal and my professional life, um, and that my faith guides efforts, my faith in my pursuit of the truth guides efforts to serve others with integrity and congruence. So, congruence being between my personal and professional integrity, and the commitment to doing the right thing always, ethical integrity and fidelity, and the pursuit of the truth regardless of challenges, focusing on the well-being of others over my own gain. Some key developments in this that I kind of reflect on through thinking of the university mission and growth as a servant leader is learning to speak up and advocate even in difficult situations, advocating for myself and others, aligning with the counseling program's values. So for me, this looked like volunteer work, being a servant leader, both at the Women's Care Center, and I did some volunteer work at soup kitchens, and then just pursuing, sorry, that's blocked. Just, sorry. Um, and then just pursuing opportunities for continued learning and research, and that learning is a lifelong process. And so next, I'll go over some of the Benedictine values and how those apply in the program and how those played out for me. I think they're really a guiding beacon for the entire program and helpful to the field of counseling as well. The first one is respect for persons, treating others as you wish to be treated. So to me, this is like unconditional positive regard, and never being unmindful of another person's dignity, and advocating for a more equitable life for everyone. And then hospitality, so encountering all as Christ and appreciating the gift of each person, creating a warm, positive, strengths-based therapeutic climate, and finding those glimmers of positivity in difficult situations. Moderation, doing everything with purpose, deliberation, and prudence. So the application of this to me was acting within my capacities and staying within the professional role, encouraging small, manageable steps towards goals with clients, and having patience and self-care. And then service, I believe service flows from charity, upholding professionalism and ethics, serving others with your full presence, and being fully engaged in their welfare. And then service also requires us to act within the limits of prudence, boundaries, and practical resources. And prayer, I think faith is a source of strength, perspective, and grounding. It helps maintain balance and avoid burnout and compassion fatigue. It allows for a deep sense of purpose and meaningful work as well. So whether this be a personal application within myself, but also modeling this, I think, and reflecting on this too for others if they are spiritual. I think that you reflect that value back to someone, even if it's not directly, even if you're not like praying with someone, having that Benedictine value, I think, gives you the grounding and the strength to maintain balance and avoid that burnout. And then to understand prayer for ourselves, if another person is spiritual, to then understand that, to then understand that another person might find a deep sense of purpose through prayer as well. Whatever that spirituality or religion looks like for them. And then community, fostering social supports and understanding the importance of relationships for ourselves and for those we serve. And then understanding the importance of advocacy on a community level and helping clients identify those supports beyond you as the counselor. My most influential Benedictine value that I chose is respect for persons, and I think it's really central to everything that we do, because it has to extend beyond our professional life to be authentic. I think if you don't respect an individual, then you really don't have the capacity for any other kind of work or any other values for that matter when working with people. And because disrespect leads to a lack of empathy and broken boundaries, and to be truthful and to actually have a meaningful impact, respect is fundamental. And also because how you treat others reflects your own interior state, and so respecting others is reflects who you are as a person and any unhealed issues that you may have. And I think it's also fundamental for another person to have healing is to be respected as a person. So reflecting on the program's impact on my values, I think they've stayed much the same. I just think the program's allowed me to grow in self-awareness and experience, and with the experience comes greater competence as well. And so maybe I view some of these values differently, or maybe they look different in application, just with what I've learned and experienced in the program. I also think that there's a level of reality that hits as to like realizing my own skills that I need to develop and understanding my own values as well. Just kind of that self-awareness component, and then also weighing that against like the constraints of resources, time, and energy. I think I've kind of been learning like the balance of staying optimistic without being idealistic, and just like understanding what you're working with. And then I think I've also learned to value rest and balance more than I ever did, because I've experienced just how personal really the work of counseling is. When you're working with others and having empathy and being fully present, it takes a lot out of you, and then also maintaining those boundaries at the same time. So I think understanding yourself and your values and having those in line in your own life, so you don't have countertransference or just so your own feelings and emotions are in check. I think I've been considering that um, um, in consideration of values. I think I also value other people in a way that I never did. I think I've always been like observant towards others and like understanding and sensitive to people's experiences, but I think the program has still grown my perspective to a great degree, just in how I engage with the world, professionally and in my personal life. Just that everyone has a unique potential and experiences and challenges and abilities and like all the negative and positive things, and taking those into consideration and not assuming things of others as well. Um, and then I think I've also been able to see the connection between my own learning experiences in the program and my ability to like better encounter another person. Um, and so I think even like the Benedictine values kind of show that as well in encountering another um, with the value set that is like serving them and not yourself. Um, and then I think I also just highly value awareness and insight. Um, I'd like to understand people and myself, and I think I really have a drive for just what motivates people and why they think the way they think and why they feel the way they feel and why they behave in certain ways, because there's so many contributing factors in a person's life, and life is so complex and people are complex, um, and we all have things in common. We all have a common humanity, but just the way everyone is different, I think, is so interesting and also important to have that mindset when you're working with people. Um, and then another value I've grown in is just the understanding and work towards the consideration and also the approach with others of their own autonomy. I think a lot of people in helping professions kind of they have this empathy that's like, I want to make everything better for you, but I think counseling has shown me that it's about really helping someone help themselves, so that they can experience healing and growth in a way that's their own and meaningful to them, and like that we don't have that power as counselors to do that for them, and it wouldn't be meaningful then anyway, and it wouldn't be sustained either. And just realizing that everyone's path looks different, and being even a small piece of support as a counselor is really a gift. And I think kind of that autonomy piece also plays into boundaries. I think graduate school for me was sort of like the first major time in my life that I had less time, less energy, kind of in my personal life to, I guess, be perfect or to like pick up the slack all the time for people, certain people maybe. Um, and so I think it was really an opportunity for me to actually like practice better boundaries, um, and understand that everyone is their own person, and we're all helping each other, but we're all in our own lane, and that, we're all responsible for ourselves, and really that's what gives life meaning as well. And so I think also learning how to lean on support during grad school and like give myself grace and realize that other people also give you grace um, when you're doing the things you need to do for yourself first. So I think just kind of learning those personal boundaries and just that kind of individual autonomy has been really impactful to me. And then lastly, I think ethics have been um, kind of a key point of learning for me. I think I just have a greater value of ethical decision making and thinking through an ethical mindset towards things, and realizing that a lot of it is just your personal decisions in the moment. Like, there's not going to be someone that's like, hey, do it this way, you have to do it this way. Like, sometimes you have to have that discipline for yourself and then also be an advocate for good ethics as well. And then just kind of like thinking through that lens. So just kind of an overview of valuable takeaways from the program in my personal and professional development, or autonomy, as I was talking about a little bit just now. Understanding of your role in helping clients take the lead and foster self-efficacy while still providing support. Ethics, I'm sorry, I have a typo. Just a commitment to practicing ethics, dignity, and truth. Self-awareness, understanding aspects of personal healing and self-care that need to take place to be wholly available to others. And then balance, prioritizing rest and establishing those boundaries to prevent burnout and also to be a good role model of healthy living. And a growth mindset, committing to the ongoing journey of my own self-improvement, learning and growing in competency in various areas, and then understanding the importance of adapting and adjusting to do what's best for the client or the student. And then openness, keeping an open mind and flexible approach when working with situations and individuals. So values and my future development as a counselor. I think just continuing to grow in boundaries, self-awareness, and balance, striving for professional competency while maintaining a personal connection with clients, strengthening emotional resilience and self-compassion to continue serving others well, and then emphasizing ethics and integrity as the foundation of my counseling. And then how will I bring the values into my life, future career, and community? Because I think true values transcend both your professional and your personal life, and I think that they have to a great extent. So practicing congruence and authenticity in all aspects of my life, which means keeping those areas at a high standard both in my personal and professional life. And then treating individuals with care and respect both in my personal life and professionally. So key values are ethical work, advocacy, respect for persons, balance, healthy boundaries, relationships, autonomy, self-awareness, insight, continued learning, empathy, and empowerment. And the purpose of these is to model healthy living to those I serve and ensuring that my own values are in place in my own life, so that I'm being the best person I can be personally and professionally, so that I can better support others. And then the focus is on being authentic and true in all areas of my life to effectively serve and support others. When considering the program objectives for the University of Mary Counseling Program, I think I've experienced growth in all but maybe some areas I have more or less proficiency. And then I think all of them are probably developing towards competency, maybe some more than others. Um, so the objective that graduates calmly illustrate responsibility, grit, and self-motivation to increase thriving of self in the community. This one really stuck out to me. And so did the graduates will demonstrate the Benedictine value of service to the community, the university, and within the counseling profession. I think I have grown in these, just that I've maintained integrity in my work, taken responsibility, and I am self-motivated to accomplish a goal. I've had a lot going on with graduate school, just with family, friendships, long distance engagement, wedding planning, multiple jobs, internship, school, all of it. And then I've tried to take on projects and tasks whenever possible, like volunteer work, networking, and trainings. So I think I have demonstrated my willingness to step up and work really hard. So I think this is a strength, is just my drive in general. So then I think with that for me is just having boundaries and self-care. And then and then the other one, graduates examine multiple perspectives to synthesize information in an action reflection process when working with clients and students to assist in the counseling setting. I think I have a good ability to take another's perspective and give good reflection to others, and then also to do that reflection in myself. I think I'm good at facilitating conversations between others and with others, and also facilitating someone's own dialogue with themselves as well. I think I'm good at piecing together the systems and details to make the big picture, and kind of noticing the things that could be overlooked. And then graduates will understand and honor the power of relationship within counseling and engage in healthy relationships beginning with respect for all persons. And also graduates will have an understanding of their own beliefs towards all persons, demonstrating knowledge and skill in working with people from diverse backgrounds. I think I've learned a lot in the program on just the diversity of various systems, barriers that people face, and dynamics at play within their life. And then I think I've grown in my ability to incorporate this knowledge in how I approach an individual, such as conversation topics, strengths-based language, and then interventions to focus on. And then I think this knowledge also kind of helps be an advocate for and guide conversations with people, just to identify their own areas of strength and areas of support. And so multicultural learning, awareness, and approaches, I think I have learned a lot in these areas, and I realize that all of these areas are still much developing, and that much growth is needed for me. So I look forward to growing in these areas as well. So just to kind of summarize all that, because I'm doing a lot of talking here. So I think just kind of a summary of my own reflection on personal growth. It is development of ethical courage and professional growth. So just doing what's right and maintaining integrity in work and growing towards professional dispositions. Advocacy, advocating for others in personal and professional environments. And then kind of stepping out of my comfort zone, stepping into my stretch zone, if you will. So I think this is kind of shown through like group mediation, thinking outside of the box, networking, resourcing, taking on tasks that are kind of out of my comfort zone for just to learn more and become more competent. And then also opening myself to more intense feedback. I think these were all areas that I think I really stretched myself and wasn't necessarily comfortable with all these, but that I think I found a lot of success and growth in. And then competency, just growing through practice, time, experience, and education, realizing I still have a long way to go. And then continuous education. This has kind of always been a mindset that I have. It's just like lifelong learner. So just realizing the value and work towards learning for ongoing self-awareness, skills, resources, and career development. And then relationship building is another area. I think it's a skill. And I also think it's just experience with certain populations, certain work settings, and just allowing that rapport building to improve over time. And so I think this has also been in an area of growth. And then work-life balance, developing boundaries between personal and professional work. I think I've grown in this area as well. Just some themes from past feedback. Common feedback themes I've gotten are just structure, process, organization, time management, self-confidence, and communication. I think the key moving piece that I've identified is boundaries. Struggling with my own time management and organization when I overcommit myself. So that's a boundary problem I have. That can lead to compassion fatigue and eventually burnout. So just some improvements I think in these areas are pacing myself, being assertive about my needs, I guess with myself and others, and then just being realistic about my own limitations. So I think going to therapy is a huge component that's allowed me to be successful, and I haven't always been consistent with it, but I'm trying to be more consistent with it, and I have utilized it in the last 2 years within the program, and it's helped a lot. Prayer helps me, relationship support in my own life, self-reflection, and then kind of on those practical notes where I've gotten feedback, just time management and a system for organization. And then just like recognizing limits before it's too late and you have a communication problem or a time management problem or something like that. So this is a work in progress for me. Just managing that anxiety and overcommitment. So just some different ways of growth and feedback. Just on giving and receiving constructive criticism, developing my counseling skills in all the areas, practicing self-awareness and empathy, developing understanding of different systems and resources, especially just within the school, within the counseling world, and just the local community, and understanding just all the different resources and systems and school counselor role. And then multicultural competency, I've had the opportunity to go to South Korea and visit a school, and it was insightful on just how their education system works. And then I got the chance to go to an AA meeting, the midwinter powwow, and then just working with Ministry on the Margins a couple of times, volunteering, and then working with students, and then just working with students of different cultures within the school as well. Even working with like different language barriers. I think there's more than like 10 different languages at the school I'm interning at currently. So that's been really insightful, and I think I've learned a lot in this area. And then just personal growth, so having self-care and emotional boundaries, and kind of seeing how that plays out just in my academic and career life and the importance of it. And then just like my own presence and energy, and like prioritizing that self-care so that I can be fully present with others. And then just realizing it's a continuous journey as well. Some factors that allowed me to grow, just time and experience, really. I think sometimes it's that simple. I think just the more experience we get, the more we grow. Having supportive and healthy relationship through my fiance has brought a lot of like healing and fostered growth and is a good source of support for me. Grad school, just like adversities through the program that have fostered resilience and greater self-awareness, and then also just the learning and support from this. Um, my relationship with God is a source of strength and clarity, and kind of keeps me like on my path and gives me direction and also like enlightenment, and a source of identity as well, so that I don't take that into work too much. And then self-reflection has allowed me to grow, recognizing the relationship I have with myself and others, and just working on that. And then my support system, family, friends, faculty, classmates, colleagues, these were all instrumental as well. And then just having a growth mindset. I think I've grown through challenges and I've been open and adaptable to learning, taking on a challenge, and just growing in a mindset or competency. How will you use this feedback in your continued professional development? Um, I think just using the feedback to avoid roadblocks and to just continue my own personal and professional growth. And then just practicing outside of the program, continuing to implement the lessons I've learned in the program just to manage those tendencies and roadblocks. Um, and then development and giving feedback, managing conflict, and confronting ideas. I think giving and receiving feedback has just come through improved confidence and skill in both giving and receiving feedback, and just practice overall. And then managing conflict. I think I have strong mediator skills, but I still struggle with conflict and being hard on myself too much. Um, and then confronting ideas, just being comfortable with open-mindedness and broadening my worldview, and respect for differing opinions and perspectives. I don't think I really struggle in this area, but I think I can always grow in this area. Um, all right, how did this program influence your multicultural perspective? I think just through the course material, just the integration of cultural considerations, um, of different worldviews and experiences, gaining understanding of the challenges faced by subcultures and how that affects counseling, using a strengths-based approach, so learning to focus on strengths and empowerment of others when working with diverse populations. And then also appreciation for diversity. I think the program really fostered appreciation for different cultures and their unique strengths. I think I've always like respected other cultures and differences in others, but like fully appreciating it, I think is a whole nother level. And then real life experiences and internship, um, kind of helped to just deepen this awareness and understanding. And then some experiences I attended to broaden my worldview. I attended a powwow, just celebrating traditional dance and indigenous cultures, here in North Dakota, and that was really cool to see, and I think that kind of goes towards the appreciation piece as well. And then in South Korea, I visited and learned about kind of their culture and education, through touring a school, and that was really insightful. And then there was a Polynesian social, at the school, or I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something else. The Polynesian social was something else, not through my internship. It was kind of just like an informal cookout in Bismarck. I saw a flyer for it at my gym, so I went, and it was really cool. Just to like meet a few people and see their food and their community and everything was neat. And just to notice that there are those, um, even really small minorities within the community. And then, oh, and then our cultural interviews for one of our classes. I interviewed my, coworker, during my practicum who was Native American, and that was really insightful, to hear from her as a counselor and also as a Native American. And then I also interviewed a military family life counselor. This was more informal, when I was visiting my fiance on base. But I just kind of learned about this role and like life as a counselor within the military and kind of the challenges they face. And then I also spoke with an Alaskan Native local, and just kind of heard about their culture. Excuse me. Um, about their culture up there and just gaining insight on the multi-generations of Native Alaskans that have lived there was really cool. And then volunteer work, I volunteered with the homeless population at Ministry on the Margins. I attended an AA meeting for addictions class, and that was insightful. I felt like I got a lot of perspective and just the experience of addiction recovery. And then I know someone who's a co-founder of a new sober living home, and so I was talking to him about just what that work looks like with populations in recovery, so that was cool. And then just my internship, gaining exposure to different cultures through my internship, as there are a lot of different students with a lot of different cultures and backgrounds and languages even. And then there's an event coming up as well for Pacific Islander families that I will be attending. And then just how will I continue to grow in this area? I think just seeking further exposure to different cultures and populations during and after the program. Living in Alaska for me, I just learning, I just want to learn like as much as I can and experience as much as I can with this population while I live there. And then just ongoing learning, so like reading more, attending trainings, multicultural events, and just really growing that skill. And then kind of my core values in this area, just staying curious, respectful, and open-minded to different perspectives. My theoretical orientation development. So this one was a little bit tough for me. I don't know. I think having a psychology background, I have certain leanings or considerations, but then I know working the schools is kind of a different brain as well. And then also just I'm still in graduate school, so I'm not going to try to like know who I am as a counselor completely yet, because I'm sure it will evolve and I'm sure I have a lot to learn in that area. So I think it's just early stages and still developing. I think in the school, just having a solution focused approach is just the most effective to the setting. And then I think I kind of have a person-centered approach. And kind of just like what that means to me is just meeting someone where they're at and realizing that like a different approach is going to be different between people and like what they need and who they are and what they are experiencing. And so just like having that client focus to kind of inform the other interventions and theories. So I would say I have kind of flexibility in theory at this point. I see the benefits of CBT, narrative therapy, psychodynamic. Even though these are all completely different, I think they're helpful at different times with different people or in different settings, such as private practice, crisis intervention, schools. I think it's all going to look really different. And then I think overall, like I would take an integrative approach then, tailoring to the individual, and then also based on my competence in different theories as well. Even theories like existential theory, spirituality of the individual, psychodynamic approach. Really, all of these theories I find benefit in, but I think it depends on the person, the setting, and your own skill with that theory. So I think if you're working in a school, using solution focused. If I was working really anywhere, I would probably start with the person-centered approach and utilize different CBT techniques And then beyond that, just whatever I have the competency for and whatever I think that person needs in that setting. So just a summary, um, just developing that competence, confidence, multicultural awareness, openness to feedback, um, overall. Populations I plan to hope and serve. I enjoy working with kids. I like working in schools or clinical settings. I think I would enjoy, but I'm open to helping families and adults as well. Past experience working with kids in schools and families and children in nonprofit settings. Um, I've worked with incarcerated women and families. Areas of growth. I have limited experience with LGBTQIA plus individuals and elderly populations, but I guess not only am I open to, but hoping to gain more experience with those. And then goals, just seeking diverse experiences during my clinical internship to develop a well-rounded skill set with various populations, and continuing to grow in multicultural competence, whether this is in my clinical internship or in the school setting. And then I'm excited to move to Alaska just for exposure to a new culture and dynamics. So, evidence-based practices for specific populations based on your theoretical orientation. So when thinking of working with Alaskan students, for example, in a school setting, I would utilize solution-focused brief therapy the most. Key interventions here: scaling questions, coping questions, exception questions, strengths-based language and goal setting to empower the student, and reframing as a tool to address barriers and strengths. And then multicultural considerations, identifying strengths and barriers in each student or individual, and work collaboratively to utilize those strengths in addressing needs and barriers. So, involvement in the professional counseling community. I'm a member of ASCA, and I've tried to utilize their resources and read their magazines and up-to-date news, and then I've listened to some webinars as well. And then I've also done online trainings such as human trafficking awareness, different ones related to school counseling that I've been able to find, a few on suicide prevention, child abuse, and solution-focused brief therapy. I volunteered at the NDCA conference. I wasn't able to attend the full thing, just for a day, but I would like to attend this again, whether in Alaska or when I move back here. And then advocacy. I think I'm really passionate about this area, just having grown up in a family really involved in political and social issues. I think I was kind of raised with this desire to advocate for people and to be engaged in the community. And then I'd like to engage more in this area post-graduation with a focus on community-based efforts. My plan for continued growth as a counseling professional, just continuing to seek opportunities for consultation, community involvement, and advocacy, and continuously adding to my professional portfolio through learning and attending trainings, networking, staying informed on the local community and the broader counseling field, and then just realizing the ongoing education component, research, attending conferences, further professional development, and just experience over time. Areas and topics for advocacy. I worked at a place during my undergrad in Florida, and it was called Grace Place for Children and Families, and they provided educational support for students in surrounding schools who faced different barriers to education, and so it was classroom based and split into grade levels. And then it was like tutoring and kind of support on math and English language learning and things like that, social and behavioral things to better support them. But then the facility also really focused on like family involvement and support, and they had like guest speakers and did field trips and technology education, and then on a larger scale even, they were always doing like grant writing and film fundraising, like philanthropy, um, and setting up like scholarships and things like that. So um, I think really it was just the focus on the family model and kind of it, if you're going to support the parent, sorry, I lost my words. Really that just like supporting the child and the parent, you kind of need both to be supported to really make that effective change when there's barriers that are being faced. And then future advocacy work, I think I would like to work um, or advocate for the homeless community and for single mothers, whether it's through volunteer work or advocacy in other ways. I think my proudest accomplishment in this program is just tenacity and perseverance. I've had a lot going on. I mean, haven't we all? But it's really been the busiest season of my life in every way, and even just like with health challenges and things that I've had. Um, and then maintaining a positive attitude and being committed to growing. I think I've really maintained that. Um, I have stayed committed to my academic and personal development, even when it doesn't look perfect. Um, and then just trying to do better the next day and like staying humble in that. And then I really try to bring my best and be authentic with others, like in the community and within the work. And I think I have really done all those things. And then ensuring my capacity for self-care post-graduation, well, and now. um, I think just having financial stability again will be huge. Getting married and kind of getting a routine, um, just for better work-life balance. My fiance is a huge source of support for me and accountability for my own self-care. Um, and we've been long distance because he's in the military, so we'll be together starting in June. And then just kind of leaning on professional supports through consultation and collaboration, and then also going to therapy just on my own as well. Um, and then just like prioritizing and giving space for processing my emotions and just um, kind of recognizing like the cognitive work that goes into self-care. So for servant leadership in the community, I think just maintaining those core values, respect for others, upholding strong moral and ethical standards, just regardless of external pressures, advocacy and supporting others. I think this is central to servant leadership. And then support, um, maintaining strong professional support and consultation so that I can be of better service to others. Um, so for ethical codes, I did ACA Code of Ethics, ASCA Code of Ethics, and AMHCA Code of Ethics. I think they're all very focused on client welfare, informed consent, collaboration, ethical decision making, competence, multiculturalism, professionalism, advocacy, client rights, the counselor-client relationship, um, and confidentiality. Um, Reflecting on the development of my portfolio, I wrote it all out before I did the presentation. So I wrote a lot, and obviously I couldn't fit it into a presentation or a summary. But I think it was really helpful to write it out because I was just for my own reflection on everything. Um, and then just seeing it all kind of pieced together. So some surprises I had, maybe just different themes, like recognizing how much of a theme some things are in or were in my journey through the program. And so I was able to kind of see that. And then also, like on the flip side, seeing areas of strength and passion that maybe I hadn't fully connected before. So that was cool. And then I've also realized I'm kind of at a point of being flexible in my interests, like within the field of counseling, and I'm kind of in a state of openness at this point still. And then just noticing growth and then areas where you may need more attention to. My next steps after graduation, I'm getting married in June and moving to Fairbanks, Alaska, where my fiance is stationed. So we'll live there for a year. And then after that, probably return to North Dakota. So kind of random, but should be quite the experience. Professionally, um, professionally and academically, I'm planning to complete my clinical mental health certificate credits, and I'm kind of in the process right now of applying for school counseling positions up there or my clinical internship. However those line up, I haven't fully figured out yet. So one or the other, but we'll see what my options are. And then just exploring opportunities in Fairbanks and nearby areas as well to further support my growth. My goal for this next year is to obtain my clinical mental health certificate credits and then secure either an internship in clinical or a school counseling role in Alaska, uh, possibly whichever one I get. I'm still working on that, so we shall see. And then in the next 5 years, this is always tough to answer because you don't know how life's going to go, but I I think at this point I'd be open to clinical counseling or school counseling, and I enjoy both sides of that. So we'll see how my internship goes. But I think school-based mental health is kind of a merging of my skill set and also my interest areas. So I've kind of been exploring that, but I'm still open at this point. And I would just like to get more skill and training in different areas as well, and then getting involved in the community and advocacy. And then personal goals, just establishing my career, starting family, and figuring out where we're living long term. And then just kind of navigating the challenges of military life and my career. There's still so many variables that aren't, there's just a lot of hoops to jump through still. So I am optimistic though. Just for some final reflections, I know this presentation got kind of lengthy and I had a feeling it would, so I'm sorry about that. Um, I think just the overwhelming reflection I have is gratitude, just for everyone that's been involved kind of in my journey the last 2 years with this and even before grad school. I just really, really appreciate you, Mary, the counseling programs, the faculty, all of you. Um, and just the work you guys have done and how much you invest of yourself. I'm just really grateful. Um, and then I'm also just grateful for just the growth personally and professionally that kind of intertwine intricately throughout the program. Um, it's really like such a growing process in the program, and it's not just academic, it's just like all encompassing. But it's really such a gift, even like work aside. And then counseling insights, just I think the program helped unlock a greater self-awareness and just a deeper understanding of other people's challenges as well. And then the focus on authenticity as the cornerstone of counseling, I guess to me, and emphasizing the importance of being a whole and healthy person. Um, so really just like that congruency component has always stuck out to me, and like having integrity personally and professionally. And then looking forward, I am grateful for the journey, and I'm excited for the future with optimism and humility. Thank you.